In software engineering, we are taking chapter number 8, Mobile App Design. So mobile is a device. We all have it now. The application on this mobile is the mobile app. So talk about a smartphone or a tablet or wearable device like these smartwatches. There are so many specialized products. And this was and this is the next wave of computing. In August 2012, the Los Angeles Times, they reported about these mobile devices, smartphone. So the smartphone penetration has crossed the 50% mark for the first time in the United States. That is what they reported. So we are talking about the advent and the spread of this smartphone. And now, since last 2 years, the smartphone has become so important that now the whole education system is dependent on it. The Gartner Group, same time, they report that in the same business quarter, 419 million smartphones were sold globally, and the projected annual sales of 119 million tablet computers. So smartphones and tablet, and this is nearly 100% increase over the previous year. So you can see the extent at that time. But now things have changed. Mobile computing has become a dominant force. I'm just giving you an idea. In 2016, the number of users of smartphone and mobile were 2.5 billion. But 2020, it increased to 3.5 billion. 2.5 billion is India has a population of 1.38 billion. China 1.42 billion. You can see the extent. And we are talking about 2020, 2025, 2027. So I think everyone will have 2 or 3 devices now. So when we talk about the application on mobile, development of the application to be executed on mobile. So mobile users, they are expecting some feature, they want some feature that are provided on their personal computers. Some of them would agree and they will be happy if they get the mobile version of that software, maybe with less functionality, but they are happy that they are getting it in a handheld device. So they can work on it on the go. So there are certain development considerations of mobile app. So we are talking about software, we are talking about app, but app is a short form of application. And these applications are, you can say, a lightweight software. Lightweight software. And you might have felt how easy it is to work on these apps now. So like all computing devices, these mobile platforms, they are also differentiated by the application of the software they are delivering. Because the operating system, maybe it can be Android, it can be an iOS operating system, and the mobile apps available are thousands of them. You only need and you only use some subset of these available mobile apps. Now the young kids, the individuals, they don't need any training. They are creating, they are making, they are selling the apps, new apps, mobile apps. But the mobile platforms are quite complex. I'll give an example. Android and iOS, they contain over 12 million lines of code. If you take an operating system, which is called Android, it has line of codes 12 million, 1 million is 10 lakh. You can imagine the complexity of the operating system. So if you are working, say, on a screen, mobile screen. Now when you open a browser, sometimes you might not be able to see the full content on a web page because you are working on 25, 27, 30, 32 screen of your laptop, or laptop is around 15, 17 like this. But you are working on a computer, a PC, you are working on a 30-inch monitor now. But what about your browser on the mobile? Mobile, what is the size of the screen? It is 5-inch or 5.5 or say 6, because beyond that it will be a tablet. So mobile devices have smaller and very different screen sizes than the personal computers. So these are the different sizes, 5, 5.5, 6. If you go up to 8, then it will become a tablet now. So now this, you might have understood that the user interface design, this is a very important issue, and as a software developer, as an application developer, you need to give more attention towards it. And these mobile apps, how do we design them? First of all, mobile is moving everywhere. It is in your pocket, it is in your hand. You are on a train, you are on a bus, you are walking. So you ought to feel the intermittent connectivity outages, right? Sometimes the mobile network you are connected, data you are getting, sometimes you are connected to Wi-Fi. And most of the time, the connectivity may be an issue, but if connectivity is good, that is okay. But when you go to some place where the connectivity is an issue, as a developer, you have to understand that the battery is limited. Okay, if you are doing, say, playing some game, the battery will die. And there are so many device constraints also. There is one more thing, that if you open, say, Bluetooth or say Wi-Fi, so you are discovering the devices. So what is the coordination mechanism? How are you exchanging the information? And thereby, doing all this, you have to maintain the security also. And while you are communicating, you have to be very sure about the integrity. You are talking to the right person. And then synchronizing all these actions. So this is how we develop the mobile application. Sometimes you, as an application developer, you use an algorithm which is inefficient. So the inefficient algorithm will drain the battery at no time. For example, if you are uploading, just try it. Connect your mobile with hotspot to your PC and then use your browser of your PC to upload using the mobile connection of your mobile. You will see that your mobile will get hot, whatever good mobile you have. This will happen. I am saying 1 GB, 2 GB, you just try it. And since we want the communication to happen on the same mobile network, so we need to have a middleware. So this middleware will allow different types of mobile devices to communicate in the same mobile networks. You see in this picture, applications need middleware so that it can connect to wireless network, even the wired network. The testing of these mobile apps is a great challenge because it will work, it will execute, it will be used on different environments. So you need to have a portability in your view, in your perception, whenever you develop your application. So there are certain technical considerations when we are developing our mobile app. So what are these are technical considerations. Let us see them one by one. First of all, the application will work on multiple hardware, or it has to be tailored so that it can be made to work on different hardware and different software, because varied system, varied devices will have very different kind of configuration. There are different development framework and the programming language. For example, currently we have Java, Objective-C, C#. These are the languages. And you might have heard about Android Studio. So there are popular development framework like Android, iOS, BlackBerry, Windows and Symbian. So mobile app developers, they don't buy a mobile and check. They use the emulators that work on their or that run on their desktop development system. So emulator is you develop an app and then try to run it on the emulator. For example, Samsung Galaxy or iOS, whichever is there. But most of the time, the emulators on which you actually check is limited because it is just reflecting that device. It is not the actual device. While in actual scenario, things may change. Mobile, always, most of the time, we use the thin client applications. You cannot have a big software, say all the configuration, the database, networking, everything cannot be, persistent storage cannot be on your app. So it has to have a thin client. So when the thick client or fat client we are talking about, all the interaction responses are happening in the software itself or the app itself. But we cannot afford to have a thick client on a mobile. You need to have a thin client. Only interaction will be there. The background services will all be provided by the server or the different kind of server. I'll just talk about that. Various app stores are there, like the Android Play Store, iOS Store. So these are app stores with different rules and tools. Every mobile platform has its own app store, and they have their own standards. How to accept the apps. For example, the Apple, the Google, the RIM, the Microsoft, the Nokia, they publish their own standard. So whenever you are developing a mobile app for multiple platforms, you need an expert for it, standard expert. And the mobile apps are always developed in short development cycles. You cannot have a like software for 1 or 2 years. So generally agile development process is used. Because user interface is very important. There is some limitation, there are some complexities of interaction with the sensors and cameras. The screen is small and there are rich interaction possibilities. You can, interact with your mobile using your voice, touch, gesture, eye tracking. Effective use of context. Again, talking about user interface design, there is context-aware application. Context-aware is going to personalize the user experience. Whatever user experience or user want, the context-aware applications have to be developed so that they understand what the user want or what is his choice or her choice. The user will say, oh, this is what I wanted. And this is the context-aware application. Power management, battery is limited. So battery life is the most limiting constraint in any mobile app you are talking about. Okay. So now the battery have increased. It works for a whole day if you are doing everything. Sometimes backlighting, reading and writing to memory. You are using wireless connection. You are using GPS. You are making use of specialized hardware. You are gaming, the processor speed. All these are impacting the power management, power usage. So now you have to have your thoughts about how to save the battery life. And while you are working on mobile, the security and privacy models and policies are there. That is, there may be people who can eavesdrop. There may be people who work as man in the middle and they may attack. And this is very critical to the safety. So if your mobile is lost, then the data can be taken, or the malicious app you have downloaded, it can take your all content data, because right now we are doing all kind of work where? In your mobile app. Okay. Right. Computational and storage limitations. Mobile is very small. So the computational power, you cannot enhance it to the level you have workstations, etc. And the storage is also limited. You can have 32 GB, 64 GB, 128 GB, but you cannot have terabytes. Maybe later it is possible. But using mobile devices to control home environment and security devices has increased the computational and storage expectancy or requirement. You are handling everything from your mobile now. You need to be very sure how computationally expensive or the storage this app is requiring. Sometimes even the information, for example, you are taking pictures, you are taking videos. So these are the extent of volume of information. So the mobile device may overwhelm with respect to the storage, with respect to the processing speed or the power being consumed. So again, I'm saying if you're playing games or making videos or doing every work on your mobile, computation and storage is always a restriction. Application that depends on external services. So as I said, whenever you are building a mobile app, it will be a thin client most of the time. So it will depend on what? Because it is just thin client. So it will depend on web service providers and cloud storage facilities. And since the data and service is required, what is the accessibility and what is the security? So these are the concerns which has increased. And as a developer, you have to be very sure that you have this concern while making a mobile application, even if you are trained or not trained. Testing complexity. What happens? Because you are making a thin client. Now everything will be done on the back end, not on the front end. So you have to have a transmission of data. It can go through internet gateways or telephone networks. So what is the complexity here? You have to test the complexity also. So whenever you are developing a mobile app, Andrew, he described a spiral engineering process model for the mobile app design, and there are 6 activities he proposed. First is the formulation, because in any software part or any mobile app or any web app, you have to have an architectural design, the overall structure, because now you have a lot of navigation here. So navigation design will be there. What is the goal? What are the features? What are the functions of the mobile app? Because in the first increment, you have to be very sure that these designs have to be done. This is the formulation. So you decide here. Then you plan. And planning is all about the total project cost and the risk. For example, a railway booking app. Now this is going to be used by billions of people. Analysis. All mobile user requirements, these are to be specified. And depending on that, what are the content items? Because in mobile, we are dealing with content. These needs to be identified. So what do you do here? First, you do the content analysis, interaction analysis, the functional analysis, and the configuration analysis. These analyses have to be done after planning, and then developer will identify that whether they have to build a thin client or they actually need a fat client or a big client, or you can say a thick client. For example, as a device is only to be used for one app, so you can always make a fat client. But the mobile which we are using multiple apps at the same time. So we cannot afford to have a thick client here. Only thin client can be made. In engineering, now we are talking about the actual working on architectural design, navigation design, interface design, content design, and now the content production. So this analysis and the formulation will be the input for these engineering. Implementation and testing. Mobile app, the same way other testing is done, it has to be tested also. So the challenges are, because every 3G, 4G, 5G, it is on certain frequencies. So there will be radio interference. We are working on the wireless environment, and there will be frequent disconnection, because you might be on train, you might be walking. So there will be some network coverage issues always. And because sometimes you might see that you have low bandwidth, there will be frequent data transmission delays. And as this mobile, again on wireless type of communication scenario, there will be security concern. It is somewhat less secure and easy to attack. So this has to be implemented and tested properly. Then finally, user evaluation. This mobile app is evaluated, assessed by the user for usability and accessibility. Andrew is suggesting that the ubiquity, that is everywhere it is, personalization, flexibility, localization, this is very important for every mobile app so that everyone can use it, and it can be for the business, it is fruitful. So mobile user, they expect something. They receive information, they want to receive and conduct transaction in real time, wherever they are, or how many numbers of concurrent users are there. Mobile application has to be customized according to each and every user preferences. The user opens something and every time he has to do the same scenario of fixing things. Users of mobile devices should be able to engage in activities and access to local information and services has to be provided to the mobile users. Basically, it's personalized. Mobile is personal to you, and you need all those things which makes your life easy. Mobile app quality. So quality is all about the satisfaction, user satisfaction. So Andrew suggested end user satisfaction with the mobile app, and this is dictated by 6 important quality factors. What are these? Functionality, reliability, the usability, the efficiency, and maintainability. Finally, the portability. So these are 6 important quality factors. Each of them we have already discussed, and they apply in the similar way to your mobile apps also. On the right side, you see these are mobile app service quality, interaction quality, environment quality, and outcome quality. And these come, for example, environment quality comes from design and performance. So whenever we are checking the quality, there are certain things as a software engineer you need to assess. Can content and function and navigation options be tailored to the specific user preferences? Can content or functionality be customized to the bandwidth? Because bandwidth will always be an issue. If the signal is weak or lost, what are you going to do? The content, function, navigation. Is this context aware? That is, does it work according to user preferences? Has adequate consideration has been given to the power availability? Because battery is always an issue. Have graphics, media, and other web or cloud services has been used appropriately and efficiently? And is the overall page design easy to read and navigate? Because the screen size will be different. So it has to be adaptable. It needs to be adaptable. Your screen and your content. According to content, the screen. So does the user interface conform to the display and interaction as standard? Because different targeted mobile devices, they have different standards. Does the app conform to the reliability, security, and privacy expectation of its users? Because this is very important. Reliability is an issue, and security, privacy, especially for the women. What provision have been made to ensure an app remains current? Is it for today, or it has already been built by someone already there? So there will be no business usefulness for it. Has the mobile app been tested in all targeted user environment and for all targeted devices? Because if it works on one and not work on another, the software will fail. The app will fail. User interface design. Now this we are going to discuss in the next discussion. Till then, thank you so much. Take care of yourself.